Victor Chan, Cells and Their Function. Part 1, Passive and Active Transport. This is a cell. Let's zoom. If we zoom in on this section, this is a cell membrane. Diffusion, a type of passive transport in which particles move from an area of high concentration to a low concentration. Let's zoom in even further. When diffusion occurs, particles such as water move into the cell without the use of energy. P.S. Diffusion happens anywhere. If Joey farts in the corner, over there the smoke gradually moves to the rest of the room. Osmosis, the act of passive transport with water. Only with water. Let us demonstrate this with a practical method. Alright, that was practical. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Actually, diffusion is happening here, though. The water is diffusing into paper. That's so you can see the B, but I should still get some tissues. Be right back. Okay, now that episode is over, let's try a more practical method to show diffusion. First, I'll go back and draw my endlessly complex cell wall, and let's use something a bit more solid, like Legos. Low concentration inside the cell and high concentration outside the cell causes water to move through the cell membrane into the cell. Diffusion. Yay. But what if the particles are too big, like glucose? We got you. We got facilitated transport diffusion. Is when special proteins in the cell membrane act like gates. These are called transport proteins, TP. No, not that kind of TP. Get that out. Alright, thank you. Normal membrane section is just, well, what you've seen like 15 times. But a facilitated protein section has this big lump in it that acts like a gate and allows things in and out of the cell. To demonstrate, we will use Legos again. So we got our little water particles, and they move around freely. But unfortunately, so yeah, just what I just said. Unfortunately, the yellow and red pieces are way too big to fit through the normal membrane, but they can enter through the TP. And no, I find that kind of funny, but that didn't work. So let's go through the actual TP. So as you can see, now the particles are inside. So diffusion works if you want to get particles from high to low concentration. But what if you want to move more inside the cell than outside? Enter active transport. Active transport is the name for the action of using energy to have higher concentration of material inside a cell than outside. Remember, you have to use energy for this. Now, one of the most often used energies to power active transport is ATP, and I'll draw a lightning bolt for fun. ATP stands for adenylene triphosphate. It's called adenylene triphosphate because it has 3 phosphates, as you can see these 3 circles drawn here. Now, the special thing about adenylene triphosphate, ATP, is that if you break even one of the circles off, it will release a tremendous amount of energy. If we could power cars on this, that'd be great, but we can't. One type of active transport, one main type of active transport, is endocytosis. What is endocytosis? Endocytosis is a form of active transport in which a cell forms a vesicle around a molecule to bring it in. Now, what is a vesicle, you may ask? A vesicle is an enclosure used inside a cell to transport foreign particles or substances. Types of endocytosis. There are 2 main types of endocytosis, and I'll show you them here. First of all, I have to draw this super annoying cell membrane, but as soon as we get it, that's good. Here's our particle. It's a blue Lego piece, just like before. As you can see, a vesicle is being formed around it. Eventually, it gets to move inside the cell, and then there's a permanent vesicle until it reaches its destination. The second type of endocytosis is used by many different microorganisms, such as protozoa or, say, an amoeba, which is a protozoa, but we'll go with it. So the protozoa opens up into like a Pac-Man shape and it closes it, brings it in like a mouth. It basically gigantically eats it, and then you get endocytosis. But what if you want to get something out of a cell? Well, to get something out of a cell, you're going to need exocytosis. Exocytosis is the opposite of endocytosis. It's defined as the process of moving things out of a cell. Alright, now comes the big question about exocytosis, the filler of the day. How does exocytosis work? So I'm going to draw these little cartoony style boxes like from Marvel Comics or something, and I'm going to use them to demonstrate how exocytosis works. First, we're going to put in this annoying cell membrane, and then we're going to have, say, your average blue foreign particle, or waste particle that you want to move out, represented here by another Lego piece. We'll use red to simulate the action that we're going to take. So here you can see there's a red arrow. That means we're going to move the vesicle in that direction. Okay, after drawing another cell membrane, you can now see, amazingly, that the vesicle has formed to the cell membrane. They are now one. So the vesicle fuses to the cell membrane, but it doesn't exactly get eaten by it. It kind of becomes part of it, if you get my vibe. Or that's a terrible description. Alright, here's the third step. We'll draw another cell membrane. This one looks like teeth. It's getting worse. And now this time, we'll have the cell membrane completely fused with the vesicle. So now it's like, they are now the same thing. As you can see now, the cell membrane is parting to make room for the particle to pass through. So it's sort of like opening like 2 doors to let it through, like a grocery store doors. Those automatic ones that make you sad if you walk past it, they open for you to go in. Well, that's a talk for another day. Here's yet another cell membrane to demonstrate the final step in exocytosis. As you can see now, the cell membrane has formed like a ridge around it in order to keep the cell closed, but the particle is now out of the cytoplasm of the cell. It is now free to move around and mingle with other rejected particles. Now, exocytosis can be used not just for excreting waste, but also for sending chemical messengers. Quick recap, sorry. A cell membrane. A cell membrane is the outer part of a cell that is made up of lipids and allows materials into and out of a cell. Passive transport. And of course, it has to be red. Passive transport is the act of moving things in and out of a cell without the use of energy. Recap continued. Diffusion, and it must be read. Diffusion is a law that states the equal distribution of particles throughout an area. Osmosis is diffusion of water through a cell membrane. Yeah, I'm running out of paper. That kind of sucks. Well, Earth is running out of trees. I'm running out of paper. Go figure. Anyway, we're once again continuing this recap, because we just got to recap so much stuff that you learned. Active transport. The movement of materials in and out of a cell with the use of energy. ATP, also known as adenylene triphosphate, because it has 3 phosphates, weird little molecules. ATP is the most often used type of energy used to power active transport. Now, I'm sorry that's not correct grammar, but don't go on Nazi on me, because, I'm a human just like everyone else. And we're still continuing our recap for second to last page. Facilitated diffusion. And of course, it must be read. Facilitated diffusion is diffusion, but it's using a transport protein to get large molecules in/out of a cell. This is still passive transport. Endocytosis, the process by which a cell forms a vesicle around a large particle to bring it in. Exocytosis, endocytosis, but reversed. This can be used to get wastes or to secrete chemical messengers. And of course, everything must be read. That's all for today, for now. See you later. Please consider subscribing to your good friend, Square One. Thanks for watching.